right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rahak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation and much respect, much love to you brothers out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. All right. Last week, things got rainy and whatnot. Didn't have the piece for the tripod, but now we're back. We're back on the same block. So with that, let's start this off with the fact, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, because vocab doesn't seem to understand, or he acts like he doesn't understand the fact that Esau is still in power, man. All right, and that Esau was prophesied to be in power in these last days before the rulership of Jacob came into power, which is us. Okay, and we're the next rulership. All right, and that's when all these other heathen are gonna have to pay for what they've done. All right, especially the nation of Edom. Let's get 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. This is 2nd Ezra 6 verse, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 7. It says, "Then answered I, and said, What shall be the parting asunder of this times, or what shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?" Okay, so he's asking when's going to be the beginning of the kingdom of heaven. All right? And he says, "And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." Man. Okay, so that's showing you that before Jacob comes into power, Esau will be ruling. And if you don't believe that these are the Edomites, then that means you think there's going to be a kingdom that's going to come up in power that's going to be way worse than this kingdom. Come on, man. This can't get any worse, man. All right? You have Edomites, you have people, men, chopping off their rods and becoming women, man. All right? They're trying to become women. This is a messed up society, man. Okay? You have little kids learning to do that shit. They're making mandatory vaccines and whatnot, poisoning your children. So how can there be a kingdom coming up worse than this, man? Like almost half of the water in the world is polluted. So how can there be a kingdom that's going to come up worse than this? Let's get this is Revelations 11 and verse 18. It says, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them that which destroy the earth," man. All right, and is the earth not destroyed under Esau's rulership? There was no other kingdom, right, that was up that ever destroyed the earth. Only the Edomites. They were the only people to destroy the earth. Okay, or what you call them today? You call them Caucasian today. All right, they were the only ones to ever have destroyed the earth. When it comes to pollution and GMOs and all type of madness, right? It was only them. There's no other nation who did that. And this is speaking about the end time. It said, "When thou should give reward unto the servants, the prophets," man. All right, let me read that again. When is the Most High going to give rewards unto his servants? He's going to do that before the time of the kingdom. You see? This is, matter of fact, the kingdom is part of the reward. This is Revelations 11 and 18 again. It says, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets." That's the end times, man. That's the time when, before the kingdom, okay? And to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Right? So that only the Edomites, only in this rulership has the earth been destroyed, man. Okay? It hasn't been destroyed during the time of the Persians, during the time of the Babylonians, the time of the Egyptians. All right? It's only in this kingdom here. All right? So by process of elimination, we know who the Edomites are. It's not hard. These are the Edomites according to the Bible. These people, right?
Google that.
Huh?
Google this.
Yeah, you can Google that. That's right. Google the 12 tribes of Israel. You'll see it. The Israelites. All right? You're an Israelite, by the way. All right. So, anyways, so by process of elimination, we know who the Edomites are, man. All right. But vocab won't break that down. We won't try to go into that. Okay. Let's get Obadiah real quick. You know, Esau's being exposed, man, and that's what the Most High that's what the Most High was did to all the kingdoms, basically. All the kingdoms they were basically cursed out by the prophets, and then they were destroyed. But this kingdom is going to have the worst judgment of all these other kingdoms, all right? Because it's done the greatest wickedness. This is Obadiah 1. I'll start at verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power, concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And we see that happening now, okay? These other nations are starting to look down on Esau, okay? And it says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's another clue who Esau is, because it said the clefts of the rock, which is what? That's the caves, man. Okay? What do they call themselves? Caucasian, which means what? They come from the Caucasus Mountains. Someone who dwells in the Caucasus Mountains, or a descendant from those who dwell in the Caucasus Mountains, which was the caves, all right, of Georgia, Russia. You see? And it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. And setting their nest amongst the stars, that goes into the space program, okay? Because these Edomites were the first nation to go into outer space, all right? And they set up their satellites and whatnot, all right? So the Most High said, okay, once you do that, that's when your kingdom is going to start to fall. And we see them falling right now. They're at a low state, man. These Edomites right now in South Africa, you have Edomites who had lands that they stole from them, right? From the South Africans. And them South Africans, them and the Chinese army is helping them kick them Edomites out their land, okay? Out of the land that they stole. All right? That was unheard of going back 50 years ago, all right? 40 years ago even. That was unheard of. But now we're at the time of Esau's end. We're at the time when he's going down, okay? And it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Okay? So this is what we're doing. We're searching up the things of Esau right now. All right? We're in that time. We're in the time of Isaiah the 47th chapter. Okay? The skirt is being lifted up on Esau Edom. All right? He's being exposed. All right? And it's funny how the jinn came up, and the first thing he pointed at the sign. He said, I should look that up. All right? He didn't point at any of the other signs except for the 12 tribe sign. So that proves that the 12 tribe sign is the sign that was spoken about in Ezekiel 37. Okay? You know, this is verse 6. No, verse 7, Salakia. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee to even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Okay, because who funds NATO and the EU? Basically, does the majority of the funding. That's America, man. Okay, so basically they're eating off of America. That's why Donald Trump, right? Donald J. Trump, he came and he said, listen, we don't want them. We don't want you have to start holding your weight when it comes financially for the wars and whatnot. All right. If a war were to break down, you have to start holding your weight financially, because they're the ones that are basically feeding those nations. All right? Let me read that verse 7 again. It says, all the men of thy confederacy, because that's a confederacy. They're confederate. They're together. Okay? It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the gate. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding of the mouth of Esau? All right? Because listen, Esau's in a confused state right now, man. All right? The prophets are out here. We're exposing everything that's going on with him. All right? Now he's finding out he's an Edomite. He's finding out we're Israelites. He doesn't know what to do. All right? You even have the elites that watch us, and they're like, shit. Okay? They're like, they better not happen. Because they know if these prophecies are true, they're done. All right? And the thing is, they are true. You know? Let's get Isaiah 47 chapter. You know? Because unlike these average people out here, the elites, they know the Bible is true. They know that the relics, you know, the Torah, the Tanakh, and all that, the New Testament and all that, they know that's true. Okay? And they're trying to actually stop the prophecies from happening, because the prophecies entails them going into slavery. Them and their people. All right? Let's get Isaiah 47. This is Isaiah 47. And I'll start at verse 1. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. Be called tender, Salakia. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right? Because these Edomites in America, right, which is the chief city of Esau right now, all right? They were looked at one time as the heroes, the benevolent people, such and such, all their movies, the witchcraft they put in their movies and all that. But now these people are starting to realize what they are, all right? Especially through us, because we're out here pointing out all, what Esau is all about. Okay, and that's why they want us off the streets, because we're pushing that true message that can't be argued against, so to speak. All right? And it says, take the millstones and grind mill, and cover thy locks, make bare the land, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And who's gonna meet Esau Edom? Yahushua. You jump to Isaiah the 63rd chapter. It tells you that Yahushua is gonna come and he's gonna start killing in Edom. All right. So if there was there's so much biblical scholars out there, people who dig up the relics from that the Bible mentions and whatnot, but they can't figure out who Edom is. When it's right in their face, they can't figure out who the Edomites are, but they have the biggest judgment coming to them, according to the Bible. But you can't figure out who that is. It's some people somewhere in the Middle East that they have no they have no real stake on the world. They have no influence on the world. They're just somewhere in the Middle East chilling. Of course not, man. The Edomites are these people that you see ruling the earth right now, right? These so-called white people, man. All right. Alexander the Greek was an Edomite, man. All right. Ptolemy was an Edomite. You see what I'm saying? Who else we got? We got, Seleucus. That was an Edomite. All right. Edomites they ruled in different, calling themselves different names, but they were Edomites at the end of the day. Okay. This is Isaiah 63 and verse 1. It says, Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, in thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? Right? And that's symbolic of the killing that he's going to be doing, because his garment's going to be like like it's gonna look like it looked like it was drenched in blood in that vision. All right, which just represented the fact that Yahushua was going to do a lot of killing of these Edomites. And it said, I have trodden in the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come, man. All right, so Yahushua is gonna come. He's gonna wreck shop. All right, he's not coming to play games. He's coming to destroy. He's coming to set up a new rulership. And in order for you to set up a new rulership, what has to happen in order for someone to take over rulership? There has to be war. Nobody just gives up their rulership, man. Okay, and Edomites are not gonna just give up their rulership. All right, that's why you have the prophecy of what the war in heaven. That's speaking about the war between Esau, Edom, and his army versus the Heavenly Father and his army, man. It's not speaking about a spiritual war that happened in heaven with Satan. No. It's not speaking about that, man. It's speaking about Satan's physical counterpart on the earth, which are these Edomites. All right. Let's get on. Let's get on 2nd Ezra, 13th chapter. This is 2nd Ezra 13, and I'll start at verse 1. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And this is speaking about Yahushua. When he comes to wage war against these Edomites, right, in this kingdom, you're going to see him in his power. You're going to see him in his glory. All right? And it says, and whenever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right, so that's the army of Esau. That's the army of Esau and the rest of these nations. They're going to try to get together and fight against Yahushua. All right, and it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. And that's speaking about the chariot, right? Because it was so big, Ezra described it as a mountain. but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. All right, the reason they're going to still fight, just like how Pharaoh, right? He wanted to let the children of Israel go. He wanted to let us go. But guess what? The Most High put it in his heart to harden his heart, man. So he wouldn't let us go. All right? And that's the same thing the Most High is going to do to those people in the army. All right? He's going to put it in their heart where where they're not going to stop. All right? Even though they're scared to death, because they see a huge power, powerful being coming from another realm. All right? And they're going to start shooting bullets at it, not even knowing if the bullets are going to affect them or not. All right? Or whatever they're going to try to do. Okay? But that's because the Most High is going to put that in their spirit to do that. All right? And it says, and lo, as he saw, the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right, so Yahushua is going to wipe them out in one blast. Okay. Whenever I read that scripture, I think of like Dragon Ball Z, man. All right, because that's the type of power that is really going to be on. That's the type of power that Yahushua is going to come with, man. With greater power than that. All right. That's going to be Brawley on a million. Okay, and he's going to destroy the armies that are here on Earth, man. All right. And guess what? The elites, they know that's true. That's why you have Trump talking about a flipping space program, man. A third branch of the military, which is supposed to be the space program. Okay. The reason they're doing that because they know these prophecies. They know that Yahushua is coming back to deliver us, and he's going to destroy them. All right, and put most of them in captivity. See. You know, Esau is he's just a fugitive from judgment, man. That's what Esau is, man. Okay, but the Most High set him up, and the Most High is gonna take him down. You see? Let's get not Isaiah. Let's get Daniel's the 4th chapter. Okay. Because what Esau doesn't realize is that he didn't get into power based upon his knowledge and his strength. No, he didn't get into power based upon any of that. He got into power based upon the fact that the Most High said, listen, I'm going to let this little worm rule for a while, and then I'm going to take him out of power. Show my power through him. All right? That's why the Most High put him in power, man. Say, listen, I'm going to put the wicked, these miscreants, all right? I'm going to put them in power just to show that I could make anyone powerful, all right? And then you're going to see how not to live, right? Based upon their rulership. Then I'm going to slap them out of power in the most dramatic fashion. Okay? That's what the Most High did, you know? And what the Most High is about to do. Salakia. This is Daniel 4 and verse 17. It says, this is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. And that's what he did. He set Esau up in a position of power. Okay? He set him up in a position of power to do what? To rule for a time period, and then he's gonna slap him right out of power. Okay? Let's get Let's get Proverbs the 16th chapter. This is Proverbs 16 and verse 4. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil, man. All right, so the Most High created Esau for this day that he's ruling right now. Okay? Right? Because what is he going to do? He's going to end up taking him out and making an example of him. Okay? Because after Esau's rulership, none of these heathens are going to come back up into power. All right? We're going to destroy, all the weapons are going to be destroyed. All right? The nuclear missiles, the guns, all of that. All right? That's going to all be destroyed. All right? Because they're not going to need that no more. Because they're not going to be able to come up against the power of the Most High. That's done, man. All right? They're not going to be able to come up against the power of the Most High. Let's get Psalms the 2nd chapter. Not Psalms, Salakia. Isaiah the 2nd chapter. You know? Because after this, Esau's not coming back into power. He's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to be on a low state forever, man. All right? All these Edomites are going to be on a low state forever. Until we gather them up and we exterminate them, man. All right? That's according to the scriptures. That's according to the Bible. All right? This is Isaiah 2 and verse 1. It says, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. All right, and the mountains represents the governments. All these different governments, they're going to flow into Israel. All right, which is the true people of Israel, not the gutter rats in the land of Israel now. Okay, we're speaking about the true Israelites. All right, and it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Holy One, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. So this is supposed to be happening. If those are the people in Israel right now, this is supposed to be happening, man. They're supposed to have everyone's supposed to be trying to go to vacation in Israel right now, trying to learn the ways of the Most High. But that's not happening. Why? Because those are not the Israelites. You see? That's what the prophecy says. It says that people would be going there in flocks and droves just to learn the ways of the Most High. First of all, they're not keeping the ways of the Most High. All right? They're keeping heathenistic customs, man. They're circumcising with their mouth and all type of madness, man. Having a gay parades and all type of shit. That's what they're doing in the Holy Land right now. So that's how you know those are not the people of God. All right? And it says, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Right? And that just represents them turning their weapons into taking their energy out of weapons and putting that into agriculture and building up their nation. All right? Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So that's supposed to be happening right now if those are the true people, the true Israelites. Okay? The true Jews. If those are the true Israelites. That's supposed to happen right now. That's not happening. And it's not going to happen. The opposite is actually going to keep happening. All right? They're going to keep causing trouble. And there's going to be more and more conflicts and wars that's going to brew up. Little proxy wars until the time that the World War III is implemented. Okay? Because first of all, they don't belong in that land. You see? So that's why when they first got there, the Egyptians, they bombed them, right? All right? The first time they got there, the Egyptians attacked. All right? Because they said, listen, how did the Jews leave black and come back white, man? That's exactly what the president of what was his name, Gamal Abdel Nasser. That was what the president of Egypt said at that time. He said, how the hell did the Jews leave black? It's a historical fact. They left as dark-skinned people. They came back as white people. How'd that happen? All right? So that's why he said there would never be peace in that land. Okay? But there's going to be peace when we're put back in that land. All right? Because once Esau's taken out, that's the problem. Esau's the cancer. That's the problem. When you look at the earth, right, they say, I'll blame the white man. Yeah, the white man is the problem for everything that's happening in the earth right now. All right? Esau, Edom is the problem that's happening in the earth right now. Okay? If you look at the reason why there's third world countries all over the world, you can link it back to these international bankers, man. You can link it back to them sending their economic hitmen to destroy nations' economies, all right, and hoarding the wealth for themselves. If you want to look at the pollution, that goes back to the greed of these Edomite corporations, man. All right, and then what happens? These other nations, they follow after these their ways and continue. They just continue the process. So, like I said, man, if you want to look at the problem on the earth, you can always go back to the so-called white man. All right, you can always go back to the so-called white man. All right. Oh, blame the white man. Yeah, literally, yes. He is the cancer of the earth, literally. Okay? You don't pity pat with cancer. You don't play with cancer. You take it out from the root. All right? Even when you look at how our people are today, how you see in Chicago and these different fucking places, man, that goes back to Esau, man. All right? That goes back to him setting up this so-called culture that Jake has right now. All right? Right? What he did was he set up the gangs, right? Going back to what, the 70s, set up the gangs. Then he gave the drugs, then he gave the guns, then he gave the music, and he made it cool. All right? So now you have now you have an epidemic now. All right? But that's how the devil operates, man. Okay? He moves in the shadows, and then he acts like he didn't do nothing. All right? This is so that was basically it on Isaiah the 2nd chapter. But let's get Psalm 64. Let's get Psalm 64. This is Psalm 64:1. It says, "Hear my voice, O Most High, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not." And that's what Esau's all about. He's all about moving in secret. He's all about, secret societies and writing legislation while he has something on the TV to distract the people. CNN will play some trivial thing over and over for days or weeks, while there's real issues happening, actual wars, people in Venezuela actually, having cannibalism going on and shit. All right? They're not reporting that. They're reporting trivial things. Okay? Right? While they sign documents in the background. But that's how Esau operates. He operates in the shadows, man. Okay? That's why you have a term called shadow government. Okay? And it says, they search out iniquities. Salaki, I'll start at verse 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And that's what Esau did throughout all these societies, man. All right? Like I was mentioning, man, the reason why you have that, this epidemic of gangs and drugs and shit, this all goes back to the so-called white man. All right? He literally planted drugs in the neighborhoods, right? Then he planted the guns. Then he planted the gang. First of all, he planted the gangs first, right? He set up the Crips and Bloods and all these different gangs. And then he set up the drugs and the guns and all that shit. And then he changed the music, all right? So everything went back to him, man. Everything leads back to him, all right? He's the problem. He's the cancer, you see? And when you have a cancer, you don't play with the cancer. You don't take out part of the cancer. You take out the whole cancer from the root. That's the only way it's going to start to multiply. It's going to start to grow, okay? See what I'm saying? That's why in chemotherapy, they're really, it's really nonsense though, but they're destroying everything, right? Because you have to completely get rid of that cancer in order for it to stop. See? And it says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right? And guess what? Their tongue is falling upon themselves right now, man. You got all type of whistleblowers exposing the wickedness of Esau, man. All right? I remember there's this one guy who came out, right? He made a video on YouTube, and he's like some type of scientist or whatever, right? But he was basically explaining how they purposely poisoned the black and Latino neighborhoods, man, and Native American neighborhoods. He was explaining what they did, all right? Going back to like Flint, Michigan and all that. So this devil's not innocent, But then when you ask him, I wasn't me, that was, But when you look at the facts, Esau's behind all that shit, right? And then you can link that back to what the diseases that they have, the extreme diseases. Man, everything is linked back to Esau, man. But you Jakes don't seem to get it, man. You Jakes seem to think this man is he's all right. He changed. Now, this man is the same devil that he was in the 50s and the 20s and the 1800s. He's the same devil, man. All right? He just put on a different mask, man. All right? Now he might smile at you or whatnot, but it's the same devil. Because if he's put in that same position as back then, he'll do the same shit. You see? But that's why Revelations 13 is written. Let's get Revelations the 13th chapter, man. This is Revelations 13 and 9. It says, Revelations 13 and 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And Esau's done all of that, man. Right? First of all, he put the so-called Negroes, right, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in slavery. All right? And then what did he do to the so-called Latinos and the Native Americans, man? He killed them with the sword. Right? You go back to these different, like Christopher Columbus, and these different, all these Edomites. Every Edomite that touched there was a murderer, man. All right, and a lowlife. You see what I'm saying? But that's what they did. That was a trend that they did. You see, but the scripture says what? It says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity." It doesn't say we shall forgive and forget. No. We're gonna put you in slavery, man. All right. And when we have you in slavery, that's when reality is gonna sit in, man. That's when reality is gonna really hit you like shit. All right. Because we're not going to be nice with you, man. All right? The scripture said to do unto them double what they did to us, man. We're not going to do the same. We're not going to do, half or partially, or a little bit. We're going to do double what you did. Okay? So what you should do is you should look up all the things that you Edomites did, even the things that are not documented, as much as you can find, because everything is not documented, right? But as much as you can find, look that up, and then try and double that. And then you can imagine what's going to happen to you in the future, okay? Because that's the future of you so-called white people. And the heathen, they're not going to get it as bad as you. You're going to get it the worst, okay? Let's get man, we're going in on Esau right now, man. Esau's getting the business right now, man. Let's get Joel the 3rd chapter. Sometimes you be like, yo, damn, I don't want to stay on Esau too long, but Esau you have to stay on Esau, man, because this is the time when that man of sin is being revealed.